Hey everyone, this is Kenny Fair, creator of the Fantasy Forge universe. I'm just making another video kind of explaining about what the Fantasy Forge universe is, as well as Collie, one of the main characters, and explaining what her role is and kind of showing some developments of what you can expect from this series of Collie. There will be 3 different series, and the first one starting out, of course, is just going to be Collie by her first name, and then we have 2 more series that I'm creating that will be coming afterwards, and those names have already been chosen for the series, but we being me will be waiting to release those at a later time. But I can give you some insight as well as some inside information. So starting off, the Fantasy Forge universe is a collective of different stories from different genres. Collie is the first series that I am releasing, and then Apocalypse is going to be coming out February 14th on Valentine's Day, and that's going to be a different genre, a different franchise. But the difference between Fantasy Forge and a lot of other comic series is that these are different genres, different series from different franchises that I'm creating, and they are being released different times, but each one goes with the other. So each comic, even if it's from Collie, if it's from Apocalypse, if it's from the Dark Knights, if it's from Ozer, yes, there will be an Ozer release. Ozer is being displayed in the webcomic. He's also making a small cameo appearance at the end of this comic for Collie, issue 1, that will be released exclusively on Amazon. But Ozer is also going to be coming out with his own series, and that development is going to be coming after Apocalypse. So at the end of Apocalypse, you are going to see Ozer making an appearance that's going to introduce him to his own comic line. So that's very exciting for me, and I'll be doing another video on Ozer as well and talking about who he is, what role he plays. But going back to the Fantasy Forge universe, I just want to kind of explain that the Fantasy Forge universe is really a collective of different stories from different genres, different franchises, but each one will be released, will be introducing another part into another franchise most of the time. I can't say it'll be all the time, but I'll say it'll be at least 95% of the time. I'm most likely not going to do a release one after the other of the same comic. So Collie issue 1, the next time we do an issue that I create, it probably won't necessarily be Collie issue 2. And so at the end of Collie issue 1, there is always a part 2 section that kind of gives introduction to the next comic that's coming out, and this is going to be for Apocalypse. So spoiler alert, Apocalypse is coming out February 14th, but you can expect that issue to connect to Ozer. And so if you want to find out more about Ozer, you can go onto our website. We have some background information about him. And Ozer's a great character. I cannot wait until I do the video on him, because Ozer is just like one of these characters that's is going to kind of appear everywhere from all different parts of the series, and some of it's going to be confusing because he has a deep, dark background, and I'm really excited to be working on his series as well. One of the greater characters I feel like I made, because he's so universal, he has so many appearances, and he's a huge influence in everything, and he's the person that kind of orchestrates this. But to get back on topic, let's go back into Collie. Collie is based off the fictional Hindu character from the Hindu religion, and so it's a mythological thing, kind of like the Greek gods and different things like that. So Collie originally has 6 arms. She has a necklace made of skulls. Fang, she's the giver and taker of life. That's her, I guess, base definition, if you want to call it. One thing that I loved about it, though, was the giver and taker of life. And so Fantasy Forge is based on Revelations. The whole story goes to Revelations and the final days, the last war, the big battle. And so Collie, being the giver and taker of life, instead of saying the 4 horsemen, I wanted to have 4 prominent figures that were actually based on the 4 horsemen. And Collie is one of these figures for war. And so I feel like war, with her definition, giver and taker of life, Collie really fit that, because war not only takes lives, but it also can give liberation and can give life for liberation from people who are oppressed, or freeing, because that's what the whole war is about something. And so you have people fighting for something, defending something. So give and take, I felt like that was a good definition, which is why I picked this fictional character's name to kind of represent what role she is going to be playing in all this. There's some other twists to her background, because she does know Bale, and Bale is one of the princes in the whole, I guess, demonic history and stuff like that. I remember Bale being released in Diablo 2 and things like that, the video game. So yeah, Bale and her are going to have a different relation though, and they're going to have a history of how they came about, but that's going to be further down the line. So Collie really is important. And one thing that I kind of want to show right here, this is her domain. So you can see, instead of having a necklace of skulls, you can actually see the skulls on her throne, things like this. I really like this concept because, Collie is really proud of where she comes from. She's evil, demonic, but she is a proud person. And so these skulls kind of remind me of Predator. I'm a huge Predator fan, always have been. Remember when the movie came out years ago and stuff, they've done so many editions, but one thing always remains true: the Predator always collects these skulls right here to kind of show his pride of being a major hunter and things like that. And that's kind of like the feel I liked about that and about this concept right here. She's evil and she's proud of who she is. She's the taker of life and she's proud of that. One thing I did want to kind of point out that, so I always leave Easter eggs and things like that, but one thing I want to point out right up here is that this light. Now, in this whole darkness and everything else, why would there be a light? You see the candles down here and everything else, but why do you see a light at the top? And I thought that was important because I feel like, this whole concept is about people making decisions, things making decisions, whether they're people, fictional characters, as far as like demons, elves, things like that. Everyone has a choice, and I'm a strong believer in free agency. But I feel like even as people, human beings, we make decisions. Sometimes we don't always make the right decisions, and it seems like we can sometimes go into a dark place because of that. But I always feel like, we always try to have hope. And this represents the hope. You can always see a light when you're at a crossroads. What path do I go down? What do I do? And if you find out you kind of didn't do the best thing, well, here's your light right here. Here's your hope. And so I really like that whole concept. I like that idea about the light and the hope. And so that's why I kind of introduced it in there. And so, as I said before, there are going to be 3 series to Collie. So this is the first one right here. This is her character. She has that great look. She looks beautiful, nice skin, everything else. You can kind of see right here the bone structure is different, more like a demon, things like that. Right here in the necklace, it kind of shows, that feel for having that, necklace of bones and things like that. And right around her waist she has these little pennants that have skulls on them as well, that kind of represent that in a more modern way. So that's what you're going to be seeing in the first issue for Collie, as far as like her character. So that's in the first series, actually, not first issue. Second series is going to be showing her, she's going to be leaving her dimension and going into a different dimension. But in her dimension, she can give that illusion of that beauty and I guess you'd say looking normal compared to our standards. In this dimension, though, she loses all of that. As she leaves that, she just really shows the, the torn, burnt skin, stuff like that. The ears, the hair, shows more like a demon look. And so one thing I want to point out here is that this necklace with the dragon on it, as well as right here on the sides, you have like these dragon looking designs and things like that. That's going to be very, very important as she evolves, because in the second series, she's going to be going on a path, on a journey, and she's going to be evolving. And so I thought that was really good. This is actually a picture that's going to be similar to what I'm going to be using when she crosses dimensions in the story as it progresses in the second series for Collie. And so then the last one is going to be the third series. So this is after she's gone down this path, she's evolved. I love this picture. I love this whole concept. If you note from the previous picture, you saw the dragon on her actual armor. Now you actually see a dragon right here. One thing is that this dragon is pretty hardcore, pretty tough. As you can see, like, this dragon just all built out with armor. But if you notice the eyes, you kind of see like that dead look in the eyes. That's very important. I'm not going to go into very much detail about that right now, but it does play a role. And there is significance there. And then if you look at Collie right here, she has a different look kind of, but she has the nice skin and everything else. She still has the horns, but you can see this blaze of fire coming out of her hands, blaze of fire coming from her hair, and she's in this area on a bridge where you can see the figures and things like that, which are prominent and do play a role. And you can see right here like these little I guess you'd say spikes that come up off the bridge. This concept was actually selected for the third part of the series, which is actually a previous step to the final battle. So when you actually see Collie in the final battle, this is going to be her right here. This is going to be her outfit. And she's going to be a hardcore warrior in that. And that is going to be kind of like her modern outfit for being one of the 4 horsemen of war. And so one thing I really love about this is that I show you a journey that she's going down. She starts off in one direction, but then by the time we get to the second series, she has to go down this path and make sacrifices. Then when we get into the third series, she obtains powers and abilities that she previously didn't have to prepare herself for that final battle, as well as this hardcore dragon, which I love this dragon. There's going to be other dragons and things like that in Fantasy Force, but this dragon, man, he is hardcore. Very, very, you know, just battle ready, battle born, and battle driven. And so this whole series kind of has different elements, but Collie is one of the main characters for the element. If you read the comic series as well as the Amazon exclusive, she is one of the key elements to winning this war, and so she is very, very important. I love this character. She's great. Marvel has used her. She's been used in different stories, different parts of mythology and everything else. But, you know, still, she's a great character to kind of base off of. I give a whole different twist and look for her in this, and I just love the way that she has turned out from the 3 different concepts, the 3 different ideas for plots that I want to use moving forward and all of that. So this is Collie. This is kind of a little bit explanation into her character and kind of gives you insight where I'm actually driving her. And as we go along more, I'm going to be making more videos kind of explaining her character, who she is, what role she's playing, what she's doing, where she's going. But this is a quick introductory of her, and so feel free to tune into more of my videos. I'll be explaining other characters as well as Ozer, which is a character I love as well. I love all these characters. You know, putting backgrounds and different story elements and things like that is really fun for me with this. And she has been great. I love the way she's turned out. And then just kind of mapping out that story in details is really, really fun. So tune into the next video series, which will be Ozer, kind of explaining who he is and then preparing you for his release of his comic that will be coming out after Apocalypse. Alright, thanks. If anyone has any comments, feel free to go to the website, fantasyforge.website. I also have another video series that I did on navigating the website and the information that has there as well. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and I appreciate all the support. You can also tune into Instagram where we have videos for IGTV, and those videos are in 10 minutes in length, so they are a little bit shorter. Don't go into as much detail as the YouTube videos, but feel free to connect there as well. And I look forward to creating more content and video for you all. All right, thank you. Hope you all have a great day.